You ever just look at something, an app, a painting, maybe even just a leaf, and think, wow, that just works? Well, it's not an accident. There's this hidden language at play, a kind of universal grammar that our eyes just seem to get. And today, we're going to learn how to speak it.
Okay, I know. This sounds like the setup to a really weird joke, right? You've got this ancient building, the phone that's probably in your pocket right now, and a flower. I mean, what on earth could possibly tie all of those things together?
Believe it or not, the answer is they all follow the exact same foundational rules. And this isn't some secret code only for artists and architects. It's a set of principles that seriously shapes our entire visual world, from the way a temple was built thousands of years ago to the apps we use every single day.
So, let's start decoding this language. The best way to think about it is like grammar. It's the structure that makes visual communication clear and effective. And I promise you, once you start to see it, you are going to see it everywhere.
And that's really the perfect analogy, grammar. These principles aren't super rigid, unbreakable laws. They're more like a toolkit. They're the tools that designers use to create a sense of harmony, to make things clear, and to give their work real impact.
So what's in this toolkit? What are these core rules? Well, let's break down the big ones, starting with the principle that literally holds everything together.
Okay, so first up is balance. This is all about how visual weight is spread out. You've got symmetrical balance, where everything is mirrored. Think of a big, grand building. It feels super stable, very formal, maybe a little serious. Then you've got asymmetrical balance, which is a bit trickier. It uses different elements, maybe a big thing on one side and a few small things on the other, to create a sense of equilibrium. It feels way more dynamic, more modern, and full of energy. They both work, but man, they give off completely different vibes.
Next up, we have proportion, which is just the relationship between the sizes of different elements. And this quote from Superside really just hits the nail on the head. When the proportions feel right, the whole design just sings. But when they're off, it can feel, well, just wrong. It's why a cartoon with a tiny head on a giant body is funny. It's deliberately messing with our sense of proportion.
Contrast. This is how you make things pop. It's all about creating drama by pushing differences. Light against dark, huge against tiny, rough against smooth. It creates visual excitement for sure, but more importantly, it tells your eye exactly where to look first. Think about those dramatic shadows in a Caravaggio painting, or even those old iPod ads with the black silhouettes on bright backgrounds. That is pure, powerful contrast at work.
And of course, that leads us right into emphasis, because every great design needs a star of the show, right? A focal point. And designers use tools like contrast or just making something bigger or a bolder color to create that point of emphasis. It's all about deciding what is the number one thing I want people to see here.
Now, a great design also takes your eye on a journey. Movement does this with implied lines, like the incredible swirling brush strokes in Van Gogh's Starry Night that pull your eye across the canvas. Rhythm creates a kind of visual beat, like seeing a row of columns on a building. And pattern gives us a sense of order through repetition. All three of these are about controlling the flow, guiding the viewer from one part of the composition to the next.
And finally, there's unity. This is that magical quality that makes all the separate pieces feel like they belong together, like they're part of one cohesive idea. But you have to be careful, because too much unity can get, well, kind of boring. And that's where its best friend, variety, comes in. You need a little variety to keep things interesting, but it's always got to be balanced within that overall feeling of unity. They're a team.
Now, here's the really cool part. These ideas, they aren't new, not even close. In fact, they're ancient, and they're totally universal. We see them being used by cultures all over the world for thousands of years, often without any contact with each other.
And the evidence is just, it's everywhere. Go back to ancient Greece. The Parthenon was built using the golden ratio for this perfect mathematical sense of proportion. Jump forward a few centuries, and there's Leonardo da Vinci using those same ideas in his Vitruvian Man. Or look at the Alhambra Palace in Spain, and you'll see these absolutely breathtaking geometric patterns that are just masters of rhythm and unity. Think about Tibetan mandalas. There are these incredible cosmic diagrams built on perfect radial balance. It's even in the timeless dot paintings of Australian Aboriginal art, where rhythm is used to encode entire stories. This is not some passing trend, it's fundamental to how we create.
So, okay, that's all cool history, but how does this ancient language matter in our world today? Well, I'd argue it's actually more important than it's ever been.
Let's take a look at a modern icon, the FedEx logo.
It's clean, right? The proportion and balance are perfect. The color contrast makes it pop. But the real genius here is its use of negative space. That's the empty area around the letters. Look closely between the E and the X. See it? There's a hidden arrow. It perfectly implies speed, direction, and delivery. And the best part is, even if you never consciously noticed it, your brain did. It's just brilliant.
And once you start looking for this stuff, you see it everywhere. It's in the complex proportions of modern architecture. It is the absolute backbone of every website you visit, with their grids and use of white space. It's in the satisfying balance of the North Face logo, the proportions of a fashion silhouette, and even in how movies are shot, using the rule of thirds to make scenes more visually interesting. It is the invisible architecture of our modern life.
So here's the most exciting part. You now have the vocabulary to start seeing the world this way. And you know who the best teacher is? It's nature. It's right outside your door.
Because here's the thing. We didn't really invent these principles. We just discovered them. They are baked into the fabric of the natural world itself. You could say that nature was the original designer.
And this is where it all just gets so amazing. That perfect spiral of seeds you see in a sunflower, that's the Fibonacci sequence in action. A masterclass in proportion and movement. Those infinitely repeating, complex patterns you see in a fern or a snowflake or even a coastline, those are fractals, nature's version of pattern. And the simple, beautiful symmetry of a butterfly's wings or a human face, that is pure, perfect balance. We're drawn to this stuff because it's hardwired into the universe.
So how can you start using this? It doesn't matter if you're taking a photo for Instagram, arranging furniture in your room, or putting together a presentation. Just think about these simple things. First, pick a focal point. What's the star? Then, use lines and shapes to guide the eye toward it. Don't be afraid of empty space. It's your friend. It creates clarity. Step back and check for balance. Does it feel stable? And finally, tie it all together by repeating a color or a shape. That's how you create unity.
So there you have it. You now have the grammar. You can read the visual world in a whole new way. The only question left is, now that you know the secret language, where are you going to see it next?